Plastic Memories episode 6 was totally Tsukasa's episode, and he ran with it. Throughout this episode, his merits were being tested, his personality was being tested. We were seeing what kind of person our protagonist was. And it turned out he wasn't just the boring one-note character of falling in love with Ayla instantly. He's a much cooler, much maturer character than we'd ever seen. So, spoiler flag up, and let's get into this. So there was actually a ton of comedy in this episode, which was good after last episode's drama and excitement and sadness and all of the feels. And just like everybody knew, Ayla wasn't actually dead, but she was in trouble. She had a few days off of work for maintenance. And what the maintenance guy basically said was she was already showing her age, but they managed to repair her this time. And that it wasn't looking very good. But as I said, the comedy was awesome. Ayla, Michiru and Elle all teamed up to stalk Tsukasa. And while they were stalking Tsukasa, they went through a bunch of funny scenes. Pretty basic ones where Tsukasa couldn't lift a heavy box which Constance was walking around with. Silly ones where he was out drinking with Kazuki and had to help the other man escape to get home to his wife, because Kazuki would not have let him go by herself. And then ridiculously funny ones where they found Tsukasa in the shower. Elle just kind of drifted her eyes down and then brought up her notebook and started writing something down saying, I see. Then she looked at him like, wow, surprise meeting you here. It's like, dude, you don't do that. You don't take a man's measurements down in a notebook. That's messed up. And the way she said, I see, it was like, so that's Tsukasa's worth. I see why Ayla likes him. It was like, oh god, what's Tsukasa packing? Oh god, that's messed up. I don't care, I said it. It's out on the internet now. Lovely. Anyway. This episode also had a lot of good drama kind of bits, like plot moving forward bits. We had Tsukasa finally find out about Ayla's lifespan. And that was pretty intense. Like, he was so messed up by the whole thing. This whole episode, he was pretty messed up. The incident with Marsha and Toya really got to him. He ended up going back to Toya himself and saying, I'm so sorry I couldn't keep that promise. Marsha's gone, kind of thing. Toya was crying his eyes out, and Tsukasa felt terrible about the whole thing. And despite him being eaten up throughout this episode, to everyone around him, he was just smiling and being the normal Tsukasa. And that is such an important trait in a man. Such an important trait in a person in general, but especially in a man. Like, that's a sign of maturity there, when everything's going to crap around you, and you can put on a smile and not make anybody else feel your pain. However, he does have to talk to someone about it, and he doesn't seem to have anyone he can talk to about it right now. So for now, it's just going to grow up inside him, getting stronger and stronger and eating him up alive. So, that's going to be interesting when he finally blows up about it. But for now, it's just really nice that he's keeping a smile on his face to make sure that the people he cares about around him don't have to feel his pain. It's really cool. As I said, when he found out about Ayla's remaining lifespan, which is now down to just under a month, it's pretty much 5 weeks. 5 and a bit weeks, which leads us perfectly to the 12th episode. So, we're perfectly in time now with Ayla's lifespan. 6 episodes to go, 6 weeks of her life left. Really messed up. Tsukasa took the whole thing really well. Like, he decided right there and then, even though it was eating him up and destroying him inside, he said, hey, I want to be with Ayla until the end. No matter what, I'm going to stay with her. I couldn't imagine being with anyone else. And that, he was talking about her as a partner, but obviously it has the same meaning as a lover kind of thing. He really does love her. He can't see himself with anyone else at this point. And that's really sweet. And Ayla heard it and she smiled for the first time in this anime in good, like, modern time. Like, she was practicing smiling before and couldn't manage it. And now just hearing that made her smile like a dopey little idiot. And then when he got home and said, welcome home, she did the smile all over again. And then there was a very cute scene after the credits where she did the newlywed thing of Would you like dinner or a bath or me? And he did not handle that very well. Oh, that was a funny scene. Anyway, moving on. So, my theory has been completely smashed now. And even my sub-theory, I've lost out to other people. It was actually Ayla that couldn't go in with Kazuki. Ayla had some sort of mental breakdown at the possibility of dealing with a Wanderer. Whether it was the fact that she'd seen a Wanderer before, and something else had traumatized her before that to dealing with Wanderers, we don't know yet. But what we do know is the reason Kazuki was alone trying to recover Michiru's dad is because Ayla couldn't physically get herself to go with Kazuki. And so Kazuki just told the man to look after Ayla while she went in by herself, and then obviously Kazuki lost her leg in that battle. So pretty intense stuff. And after that, Kazuki just couldn't work with Ayla anymore. Which I'm actually surprised about. I didn't think that Kazuki would have stopped working with Ayla just because Ayla wasn't actually up to the job. It makes a lot more sense than what I was imagining. But it is a more mature and cold decision than I expected from this anime. Like, it's a really realistic kind of one. Like, you can't have my back on the field, I can't work with you kind of thing. It's a lot more cold and calculated than I expected. But that's good. It's a nice dose of realism. And it'll be interesting to see if there was something that made Ayla freak out before that. Or if it was just that she was scared of the idea of dealing with a Wanderer. So, I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. The comedy was so on point this time. It didn't overpower the dramatic bits at all. It was a nice break after the last episode. And it was my kind of comedy. Like, Sherry, her scene where she destroyed Elle's binoculars. Like, I really liked Sherry before, even when she was kind of a blank slate-ish kind of character. Seeing how cool she is and how funny she is with Yasutaka is just amazing. So I really do hope we see more of her. And Yasutaka is interesting in his own way as well, because it's looking like he's not part of the bad guys anymore. But he does have his own mysterious connection to the big boss. Like, he just casually ran across the big boss at a pub, which was clearly him actually seeking him out to try and talk to him about the whole Marsha incident. And they had a little convo which was very cryptic, and it sounds like Yasutaka, if he had wanted to, could have moved up the chain, but just decided not to. The way he said, oh, I guess even the higher-ups, the people in charge, can be a headache too. It was like Yasutaka was kind of glad that he hadn't moved up. So maybe he was given the offer at some point as well, but decided to stay where he was. So yeah, this was a great episode in my opinion. 9 out of 10. Can't wait to see next week. No idea what next week is going to be about. But I hope we get to find out a little bit more about Ayla's past, and we get to see more of the cute Ayla which has appeared today. Thanks for listening, guys. Leave a comment to let me know what you thought about the whole episode. There's so much to talk about from this episode. So much comedy, so much drama. The fact that we're now perfectly in time with the fact that Ayla has 6 weeks left to live and we have 6 episodes left is quite intense in my opinion. I was waiting for that to finally happen. So leave a like if you enjoyed this review, and subscribe if you haven't to see more, and I will see you guys next time.